Welcome, everyone. We are live. We are alive. Yes, we are. I'm glad to see you all. I'm glad to see you all. R is for preparation. That was not a typo. The rhythm. Rhythm is for preparation. The reason why we're going to touch on this again is because the question still remains. I'm waiting, Angela. I'm waiting for this to happen. No, you are not waiting for anything to happen. You are preparing yourself. This is what we're doing. Think about it. I was watching my neighbors across the street. They're moving. They're moving. They didn't just wait until month end, right, to start packing. They were packing all month long. Why? In the preparation for their move. They weren't waiting to move. Sure, it looks as if they're waiting. It looks as if they're waiting, but they are not waiting to move at all. They are preparing because they're not waiting till month end to wash walls and windows. No, you are preparing yourself. This is what we're doing all the time. It's being vigilant. It's looking and seeing what needs to be done. You see, we think, remember, the law of vibration tells us that everything moves, nothing stands still. So you can't be waiting. You are preparing yourself for where you're going, which means you are in the ebb. You are in the low tide. It's more effective to get things done in low tide. What? Clam fishing, for one? You ever went digging for clams? You can't dig for clams in high tide. You don't have access to the sand. But at low tide, which is the ebb, get your bucket and your little thingy, your little scooper, and go get the clams. Once you have been clear about what it is you are creating, you have that image in your mind, it's done. So long as the image is complete in your mind, it is done. The image has to be complete. That's like getting into the back of an Uber and saying, okay, I'm going down the street over there. Well, you do know you're going down the street, but where? A destination is required. Destination means know what you want. Be clear about what it is you want. One of the best ways to know what you want is to recognize what you don't want. Well, how else would you know what you wanted if you didn't say, I don't want that. But you know what you don't want. Use what you don't want to create what you do want. It shows you clearly what, let's put it another way. You have a problem. The solution is the seed inside that problem. Again, another way of saying it is if you are barefoot, you don't want to be barefoot. So when you say, I don't want to be barefoot, what are you going to say? What is it that you want? I want comfortable shoes. Well, is that not what you want? Think about it. I don't want to be barefoot. Okay, great place to start. So, what do you want? From that problem of being barefoot, what is the solution? Shoes. So, what are you going to create? Shoes. Do you know what kind of shoes you want? Do you want sneakers? Do you want runners? That's what we call them here, runners. Uh, there's sneakers, there's loafers. You know, the ones with the tassels. Do you want a pair of heels? What kind of shoes do you want? We'll see them in your mind's eye. And now that you see them, prepare yourself for your shoes. Prepare yourself for your shoes because it's inevitable that they get there. It is inevitable. Once you have formulated that image in your mind, it has now taken up space. It has space in your mind. It has to take up space on the outside. It's the law of correspondence. So all you're doing now is preparing yourself. That's it. You're never just waiting. Waiting means it may or may not show up. Preparing means it's on the way and I'm ready. It just means you're ready. Another way of saying it is always be ready so you never have to get ready. But in order to be ready, you need to know what you're ready for. This is why it comes down to that one thing, that mental image that you have in your mind. That is what you're recreating. So, if you find yourself having particular conversations in your head, you are preparing yourself to have that conversation on the outside. Now, if you say, you know what, I'm really not a fan of coming in the door and arguing, okay, that's what you don't want. So, what is it that you are wanting when you open the door and come inside? What do you want? You know you don't want an argument. So, what do you want instead? You know you don't want the cold shoulder. You're preparing yourself. We just had a glitch. YouTube, let me know if you guys can hear. But does that make sense to you today? Does it make sense to you? You are not waiting around. You're not idle. No, 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 no. You are preparing yourself. Who else are you going to prepare? You. You know what you're expecting. It's quite like, you know, you're pregnant. You're not going to wait for the day of delivery to set up the nursery. No, you prepare the nursery. You are preparing. R is for preparation, the rhythm, the ebb and the flow. That's what R represents, rhythm, ebb and flow. Everything is always moving, right? So it's not that you don't have what you want. If you are busy preparing, you're not looking at the clock to count to see, oh my God, how long is this going to take? See the difference? You're busy preparing yourself. Reminds me of the story. The bridegroom cometh. One has to prepare themselves. But you see, we think we have to wait. Change your perspective. You are preparing yourself. This is why you get your scripts written. This is why you get your manuscripts written and edited. Because you are preparing your work. You're preparing your work so people can partake in it. That's what you're doing. If you have nothing prepared, that's quite the spot to be in. Quite the spot to be in. I just want you to think about that for a moment. So you know you're getting married. What do? You plan, you prepare, do you not? Or are you just gonna wing it? Everybody, the wedding party's gonna show up in whatever they want to show up in. You see, you and I are the operant power. As she says in the movie Jerry Maguire, this doesn't work without him. He's the operant power for the family. You are the operant power. That's why R is for preparation. Prepare yourself. What are you preparing for? The thing you created. You are preparing yourself for the thing you created. And as science will tell you, anything that has mass bends the space around it and it creates this. What do I want to say? Because some people haven't pitched marbles before, so I can't use that analogy. Wherever you have an inclination, an incline, a dent, things will come towards it. Hmm? Ever been on a waterbed? Why don't they just say water? Have you ever been on a waterbed? Wherever you are, you see the thing that rises up now because the other side will go higher, it'll roll towards you. You are creating the mass. You are the mass. So then that thing that you have created in your mind, it is mass now. It is taking up space. So all of the necessary components have to be drawn to it to give it physical form. Without that image in your mind, you did not create something. You did not create the mass for it to draw things unto itself. All the necessary components. Neville Goddard calls it the what? The bridge of incidence. So all the thing that you are creating, so long as you have the image in your mind, and I will always refer to my beautiful Brie, because she said to me, yeah, but I never have a finished product in my mind. You see, she's tactile. She touches. So what she does have an original image. She sees something, and then she sees what she wants to do to it. She does have an image. But because she is the way she is, the way her life is, what she's learned, the more she thinks about it and touches it, then it begins to take more shape. And then she gets that final image. But make no mistake about it, the moment she looks at the thing and goes, oh, this would look good like that. Oh, I'll cut this off. She's already started shaping it and giving it form, just like Nikola Tesla. That's what we do. This is why it is important to know what it is you are wanting to create. The more clear you are in that image, the better preparation you can do. Oh, my stomach is growling again. Good Lord, have mercy. Does this make sense to you today? Preparation is key. You have to now make some space for the thing that you are creating. Where are you going to put it? Where are you going to put it if you don't make space for it? So you must prepare yourself, which means you have to get a new attitude, because it's not always something tangible, is it? It's not always a vase you're making. It is not always a car for the driveway. It's not just a new piece of furniture. No, it is a new attitude. It is a new self concept. It is a new way of speaking. So you have to make room. So you make room by preparing yourself. Make room by preparing yourself. Who else is there to prepare? They don't know what you created. You can't ask them to make space for you. So you see, instead of tapping the foot and looking at the watch, asking, are we there yet? Prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. Listen, you know you're meeting the president. I'm sure you'll be in the mirror planning what you say. You are preparing for that meeting. You're not waiting to see if the meeting happens. You are preparing for the visit. You say things like, oh, I really want a nice relationship. What are you doing to prepare yourself for the relationship? What are you doing to prepare yourself for the relationship? Now, this girl or this guy is going to be coming to your house. Look at that pile in the corner. What kind of smell hits you when you open the door? Yes, I know I'm dramatic. How are you? Is your room messy? Is the kitchen sink a mess? Does it look like you are prepared to have guests? Oh, no, you're not prepared. So if you're not prepared, oh, look what happens. We become anxious and we worry and we fret. I'm not ready. Who gets you ready? You have to get you ready. So long as you have that image in your mind and you know what you are creating, right? The image is there, it is clear. Now you go about and you prepare yourself. You're not preparing yourself because you're hoping it happens. Preparation does not denote hoping. Preparation means, oh, you are sure. Indeed, you are sure. You're out here telling yourself, oh, I want a new car. But yet the garage or the driveway is completely filled with everything else. Where are you going to put your car? Hmm? So you see, R is for preparation. The ebb is very important. The low tide is very important. That's what it means. The R is rhythm. The ebb and the flow. Begin to prepare yourself in the ebb because the flow is inevitable. Once you've got much momentum in the ebb, the only option is to flow forward now. Hmm? Every time you pull back, well, then the only place you got to go is forward. It is always going to be that retreat and advance. It's a swing of the pendulum. That rhythm is determined upon where you are polarized. If you are polarized in worry, well, then that's what you're preparing yourself for, things to be worried about. So, where are you polarized? That is what influences the rhythm that you set, the ebb and the flow. And how do you know where you're polarized? Ooh, the vibration of a thing, the way it feels, the way it moves you. What influences that vibration? Hmm, the thought that you're having. Because the thought that you have inside has to correspond on the outside. That's what determines the rate of vibration for where you're polarized. And in that polarity, you begin to set a rhythm. That rhythm is there because of that original thought. So the effect is predictable. And that is predictable because of what you projected outward from your conscious mind to your subconscious mind. So that depends. Gender, what seed did you plant? Now you see where the law is at every single turn. So, what exactly are you preparing yourself for? This is why you need to know what it is that you're creating. A thought image. The thought actually generates an image. This is why a writer has to paint a picture for you. They have to describe the scenery. Why? So you can begin to form an image in your mind. I want you to think about it. Any writer, any kind of writer, script, movies, it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, what they are doing, then they describe the scenery, the smell of the roses, and how they make you feel as you walk through the garden in their story, creates an image in your mind. And the image in your mind is what they created. They projected it into you. So now if you are a writer, you have to be clear about the image you are projecting into the mind of the reader because you want to be understood. Hmm. You want to be understood. And you'll know they understand you, then the image just pops into their mind, and they can see an image from your words. It is the same with a singer or a lyricist. So you see, R is for preparation. You say, I have a song to write, I have a story to tell. What is that story? What do you want? What image do you want to be conjured in the mind of the reader or the listener? What mood do you want to evoke in them? That is where you begin if you are writing or telling any kind of story. What do you want them to respond like? Do you want them to laugh? Do you want them to cry? Do you want them to do a bit of both? Do you want to create suspense? You see, that is the ebb state. When you begin to plan these things out, to become clear about what it is you're creating, that is the ebb. So now when you sit down to write the book, which is now taking you into the flow, when you sit down and you write it, and you're on the typewriter, and you're typing away, I'm old fashioned. Because now, as you project the image outward, it begins to move you. You take on the characteristics of your characters. They move you. So if they move you, they're going to move. So long as you're clear in that image, they will move the reader, the listener. But you must prepare yourself, which means you know what it is you want. You have that image. Now begin to test it out. Work it out in your mind. How are you going to interact with this thing? This is why Neville Goddard gave that technique with how would your family see you? How would the people closest to you begin to react to you? How would their attitudes toward you change? All of those things are showing you and making more clear that image that you are creating. That is how you prepare the self. That's why you stop saying things like, I don't know. I don't know what I want. Clarity. You must know what you want. If you don't know what you want, what are you creating? And even if you don't know what you want, I'm going to tell you this. Even if you don't know what it is you want, the thing that you think about predominantly, the thing you think about the most, is what you will create. Because there cannot be a void. There is a cause, there has to be an effect. And you can be sure if there's an effect, there was a cause. So you can say, I don't know, all you want. The closest match that you are aware of is what you create. And then you'll say, but I didn't want that. Well, then be more clear so that you know what you're preparing yourself for. We're always in a state of preparation, getting ready for the thing we've created, to interact with it. Let's take a moment, shall we, to welcome everyone into the space this morning. Jeff, darling, it is brilliant to see you. Welcome. Muck45, hey, I see you. My Twitter friends. Well, I don't even know if we can say that now. My ex-friends? That's a totally different connotation to it. My Twitter friends is what you'll remain. My beautiful Twitter friends. And you're the replay gang for Twitter. And Cuddles. And Lilith. These are the things. Who's on Fanbase today? We have Spoonie, LaTroy, Malik, Miss McQueen, Matthias, Flo, Smiles, Yolanda, Zola. I see you all. Welcome and thanks for being here today. It is a lovely Monday. Indies on Facebook. Let me see. Who's on YouTube? Queen Red Pill. The Better Man. Sherelle. Anot. Sonia. These are the ones who've made themselves known in the chat this morning. And for the replay gang. I see you. I see you all. Empress Ella, my beauty queen Onika, Sinovia, David, Cyber, Jay, all of you, I see you. And Cheryl. Marjorie, Marcia, I see you all. Thank you for being here on such a lovely day. So I trust today that as you go forth out into the world, what did you prepare yourself for? Well, it's the thing you're experiencing right now. What did you prepare yourself for? Mm, this is how it works. You have an image in your mind. You know what that image is based upon how you speak to yourself. Yes. They always tell you, tell a new story. You know, put on the new man. The new man tells a new story. So, what are you preparing yourself to experience? But that depends on the conversation you have. What image are you holding up? What seed did you plant? Oh, but I can't. I'm just so not sure, like, if this is going to work out. You know, I'm going to plan for the best. I'll hope for the best, but, I'm planning for the worst. What? Oh, so you're going to prepare for the worst? If you're preparing for the worst possible outcome, well, then, unfortunately, that's what you're planning. You know how they say, I think they say expect the best, but prepare for the worst. What? Listen to how we talk to ourselves. Oh, you don't want to be disappointed? You don't want to be let down, so you don't want to get your hopes up? It has nothing to do with hope. It has to do with clarity. What have you planned? What is the end result? Well, then, start there, and all the necessary pieces come together. And then that's how you prepare yourself. Well, you know what's happening. If you're the bride, how does the bride prepare herself? We go to the gym for the whole year. We go to the gym because we got to fit that dress. You got to plan the menu. Are there any allergies? You got to send out the invitations. So much work. But what are you doing? You are preparing yourself because you've already seen yourself walk down that aisle. You've seen yourself exchange your vows. You've seen it in your mind. Oh, indeed. You've seen it all. But then that's what you are preparing for. So everything that you've seen there, now you prepare yourself for it. R is for preparation. Use the ebb, not as a time to worry, but as a time to prepare. Why? Because in the preparation comes peace of mind. Because then you can say, that's over. Whew, that's done. And see, you're at ease now. That's it. R is for preparation. So, do you know what you want? Do you know what you're wanting to create? Or are you still sitting on the fence? What kind of life do you say you want to experience? I don't know. You know what? I want a good life. That's nice. What does that mean? What does good life mean? Well, write that out. Be more clear about it. Now you begin to prepare yourself for a good life. You see, because the preparation means it's already done. You can't prepare for something that you're not sure of. Well, maybe one day it'll unfold. Uh, maybe one day. Prepare yourself. It's just like after all the snow melts and you have to go out there now and that grass or the dirt that you're going to prepare for your garden, You get the aerator guy to come out and poke the holes in it because you got to get it to breathe. You put a fork in it and you turn it over. You get the air churned up in the soil. Why? Because you are preparing the soil to do what? Bring forth the life that you put in it. That's why you prepare your garden. That's why you prepare your garden. Well, if you spend time preparing your garden, well, I don't know what I want to plant yet. I know I want to plant. You know you want to plant, you know what you're doing. You'll get the right seeds because you know you want to plant. If you were unsure, well, I don't know if I'll plant this year or not. I don't feel like it. Well, then you won't go out there and do anything to prepare that garden because you don't know what you want. But the minute you say, I want to experience, and you name it, now you begin to prepare yourself to experience it. The minute you give name and form to it, you've created it. So prepare yourself. How are you going to act? How are you going to behave? Well, start doing that now. But that's the preparation. There is only now, isn't there? I trust it makes sense today. I trust that it does. So begin to get clear. I'm having a little more clarity myself as we speak. I tell you, I'm always speaking to myself. Y'all are just along for the ride. Know what you want. Step one. That's step one. Know what it is you want. You don't know what you want. Well, there's polarity. Where are you now and what are you doing? That'll show you what you want. You don't complain about what it is you don't want because it's right in front of you. So, of course, it's easy to complain. Well, I didn't want that. That's not what I wanted. What is it then? The thing that you see on the outside that you experience, if it is displeasing to you, use it to become more clear about what it is that you want. If you don't like your boss, what do you want? Do you want a better working environment? Do you want a new job? Or are you just going to say, ugh, I can't stand my boss? Because you know what you do? You prepare yourself to argue with your boss every chance you get. There's always going to be an altercation of some kind because that is what you've prepared for. So if you don't like your boss, what is the solution? Does it mean a new job? Does it mean you get a new attitude? But you don't know my boss. How can you say it's my attitude? I'm not talking to your boss. I'm talking to you. It's only ever going to be you. And that's not a bad thing. You, it's think about these things for a moment. Does your boss care if you like them or not? Not so much. Not so much. It's you who cares. Everybody's not going to be your friend. They can't be. You're not always going to be everybody's cup of tea. The question is, what kind of cup of tea are you? Because that is what determines the experiences you will have on the outside. Oh my God, I hate this job. Okay. So what job would you prefer? Would you prefer a new job or do you just want your working environment to be better? Which one is it? Because when you begin to put clarity in the mix, you change your behavior, you prepare. If you say, I need a new job, well, then you prepare your resume, won't you? But you see, if you don't prepare the attitude above all else, then you will have the same experiences wherever you go. Why is that? know when people say, well, you're the common denominator? You see, it's just all a matter of how you say that to someone. That's like saying, you're the problem. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You can't say it like that. You ask a question. What happens every time you go out? What kind of interactions are you having? Ah, you're always in an argument, are you? Well, why is that? Why are you always in an argument? Well, I can't seem to get along with anybody. Hmm. Are you having an argument in your head? Are you upset with the fact that you're always arguing and you can't get along with anybody? Ah, then the solution is, what are you saying to yourself? Change that. Change that. And I promise you, the interactions will change because it's you. You're the common denominator. How can all of these people know you, but they don't know you, and they have the same reaction to you every time? Because you, my beautiful friend, are bringing it with you. So, what are you bringing with you? It's not a bad thing. It's a very good thing to recognize that you're the common denominator. Why is it a good thing for you to recognize that you're the common denominator? Because now you can change it. You see, you're not powerless. You see, this is how we talk to people. This is how we talk to ourselves. If you keep hearing, you're the problem, you're the problem, that's hard to change from because you are already beating yourself up. Well, then others can only come along and beat you up verbally and emotionally because that is the projection. So, what are you going to prepare yourself to do? You say, you know what? It's a new me, a new attitude. Well, then begin by preparing what kinds of conversations you're going to have with the new people that you meet, or shoot, the old people that you know. Because they'll say things to you like, oh my God, you're like different. What did you do? That therapy must be working. You know how people can be sometimes. That's one way also. If you know that there's somebody who gossips in your family, well, then you can hear the latest news in your head. Well, I heard she was going to therapy. Well, she looked different. She talking different too. Well, she's a whole new person. Look at her. Got a new attitude and everything. You do not fear the person who gossips. You put the words in their mouth. How? The projection from you is what will determine the words they speak. Well, they can only call into account what you are. Listen, you have to use everything at your disposal because not everybody's going to like you. But if that's the strongest thing you have, the strongest emotion you have, then you have to use it. You know that that coworker doesn't like you. Well, then you hear them say, ugh, figures that she would get the promotion, figures that he would get the promotion. They probably know somebody. That's why they got the promotion. What are you denoting? You got the promotion. If that is your strongest thing, use it at your disposal. Because you are preparing yourself for what? Your promotion. Whether they like you or not is irrelevant, y'all. It is irrelevant. Mm. Because then now, what you can also hear, because this is how you fix things, it has nothing to do with them, it is you. So you fix it by, yeah, I know. I know. She thinks she all that. He think he all that too. Well, we can't stop them. You might as well join them. Can't be no harm in being their friend. Can't be no harm in being their friend. Fine. I don't have to love you. I do work with you, though. All these things, use it to your advantage. Because that's the conversation You're going to come around the corner and over here. Because what does it mean? It means that you have prepared yourself for your advancement, your promotion. Oh, but it seems negative, Angela. Do we not live around people who are negative? Well, then learn to transmute negativity into positivity. What else are you going to do with it? Are you going to let it affect you and bring you down? No. Transmute that stuff. I had to catch myself with that word there. Transmute that stuff. That's what you do with it. You see how you prepare yourself? That's what you do. You prepare yourself. That's what you're doing. You're preparing yourself for the interaction of the thing you've created. That's all you're doing. I saw this girl, she was doing Irish dancing, and the caption read, "Wow, she makes it look so easy." And I'm thinking to myself, huh, well, she makes it look easy because we don't see, hmm, we don't get to hear what her mother hears. Tap, 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 tap. We don't hear that. Her poor mother. But she prepares herself. Yes? She's tap, tap, tapping away. 1, 2, 3, tap. 1, 2, 3, tap. All day, every day, she's dancing. Just like the gymnast, tumbling all about the place, flipping all over the place, twirling all over the place. Yes. Just like the actor who prepares their Oscar winning speech. That's what you do. Prepare the Oscar winning speech. Because then the part comes along for you to play. Of course. You prepare yourself for what you say you want to experience. That's how come you start living it now. You start doing the behaviors now in preparation. Don't be caught unawares. Come now. So get clear about what it is you're creating. And then, because you know what you're creating, prepare yourself for it. Whether that be a new attitude, whether that be more space in the house, who knows? Only you do, because you know what it is you've created. So you got to make room. And I tell you, use the law of correspondence, as above, so below, as within, so without. Use it to make it make sense for you. If you have to prepare to bring a baby home, whether you've adopted a baby or you gave birth to a baby, irrelevant. You are bringing new life into your space. You have to make space for that new life. Where is it going to go? Oh, you got a puppy. Do you have a dog bed for the puppy? Do you have a kennel for the puppy? Do you have space for the puppy? How are you going to bring the puppy home? Where are you going to put it? You have to prepare. You're not preparing in hopes. You are preparing because it is inevitable. You have already created this thing. So now you got to make room for it. Listen, this is why feng shui, double A, baby. This is why feng shui is a beautiful thing. It's part of traditional Chinese medicine. The way the energy flows. If you have your bed, half of your bed up against the wall, you know, the part you don't sleep on, if that's up against the wall and you get in, how have you made room for a partner? You have to give them space to get into the bed. This is why there should be space on the left and there is space on the right. Because now two people can get into the bed, one from the left and one from the right. But if you got it up against the wall, huh. Only one person can get into the bed because there's no room for anyone else. If you're part of a couple, I'm telling you right now that somebody has the left side of the bed and the other person has the right. Because there's two of you. I'll wait for you to tell me that I'm wrong. I'm not trying to be right. I'm showing you something, though. If you want a relationship, you must prepare for one. You you are creating a relationship. You have to make room for it. You have to make room for it. So you've got to prepare yourself. That's what you have to do. Prepare yourself. Yes, the better man. Preparation is key. But you can only prepare for what it is you know that you've created. How else will you know how to behave? Eh, I trust this makes sense to you today. Double A's on a break right now, UK time, so he's on his break and he's here with us today. I trust these things make sense for you. I trust they make sense. Know what you want to create, not what you're waiting on. You're not waiting on anything. We have to get past that now. You're not waiting for anything. Even though you are standing at the bus stop or the train station, you have a destination in mind. You had to get up at a particular time, you had to eat, you had to bathe, you had to get dressed so that you could do what? You prepared yourself so you could do what? Get to your destination. So now that you are ready and you walk down the street to the train or the bus, are you waiting for the bus or have you prepared yourself to get where you're going? You see, we think we're waiting, but we're not waiting, are we? No. We are preparing ourselves to experience what it is we have created. But of course, the intention or the will, double A, is what creates the image in your mind that you recreate. Why is my stomach growling so early in the morning? I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's it's that's what it's doing right now. It's driving me crazy. That's okay. It's what I'm just telling you this morning is simply know what you want to experience because that is what you are creating. And once the image is there, you are polarized in a particular direction, meaning what? Towards your destination. You got into the back of the Uber and you said, take me here. You see, if you get into the back of an ambulance, of which I am too familiar with, all too familiar, you already know your destination. Because the ambulance, well, they only have one destination, don't they? So you don't have to tell them where you're going. But when you get into the back of the Uber and you say, and you give them the address, that's where you're going. You must always have a destination. See the destination in your mind. This is what Neville Goddard means when he says, live it from the end. The end is important. Live it from the end. Because that image is now complete. The image is complete. Once the image is complete, well, then the route to get there or the route to get there will lay itself out. Why? Because every cause has an effect. You notice when you put a destination in your GPS, it'll choose the fastest route or the fastest route. But it will give you a couple of options. Exactly. Based upon that destination. And it will, I don't know how it knows, but I guess it's satellite, but they'll tell you if there's an accident on that route, if there's construction on the other one, and it will calculate the fastest distance based upon what's going on that route at the time. The bridge of incidents. Your route that you take, the route, the path that you take to get you from where you are to where you want to go. Sounds like polarity, doesn't it? The swing of the pendulum. This is why you must know what it is you want and then prepare yourself for it. if you tell your army, because yes, I was watching The Witcher, if you tell your army you're going to war, well, then you have to do what? Prepare your troops. That's what you're doing. They're not waiting for war, they're preparing for it because it is inevitable. We are always in preparation. We're never waiting because why? Nothing stands still. Everything moves. That is the law of vibration. Everything moves. So, no, you're not waiting. You are preparing yourself. R is for preparation because you're using the law of rhythm. High tide and low tide, the ebb and the flow. In the ebb, it looks like nothing is happening. It looks like nothing is happening, but you can be guaranteed that something is happening because nothing can stand still. It cannot violate law. Everything moves. So, no, you're not waiting. You are preparing yourself for what it is you have created. You are preparing to experience it. So, you've got to make room. You do have to make room. I'm sure when Flo Smiles is getting ready when she gets an order for cake, and they tell her what the design is, she's got all her stuff ready. Why does she have all her stuff ready? Because she bakes. That's why she's got her stuff ready. She's prepared because that's what she does. She's not waiting for her order. She's preparing, which means she's always stocked. This is the whole point today. I trust that it makes sense for you so that as you go through the day and you are experiencing something, you can rest assured that you have prepared yourself for that. If you are arguing in your head, of which I am all too intimately acquainted, if you're arguing in your head, then you are arguing with somebody else outside. It doesn't matter who they are. You're going to have an argument. So stop having arguments in your head. Justified or not, it is irrelevant. The conversation you have within is what you are preparing yourself to experience on the outside. So what are you preparing yourself for? What are you preparing yourself for? When you put those eyelashes on, yeah? You put your shoes on, your shirt on, the belt on. What are you preparing yourself for? We are always preparing ourselves to experience what it is we have created. That's what it is. And that is a very good thing to know. Because it is telling you something very important. You are the one in the driver's seat. You are the one in control. That is your word today, my beautiful friends. Double A, you're welcome. I don't know which one you're referring to. He said that was a very clear explanation. I don't know which one that is. I don't know. I've said a lot. But I trust it makes sense to you today. You're not waiting around for something to happen to you. That's not how we live life. Create what it is you want to experience. You create what you want to experience by being very clear in your mind. So when somebody says to you, what do you want? I always give this analogy. If the realtor comes and says, because a realtor deals with property, yes, and structures, whether it be commercial or residential, you know why you would seek out a realtor, because you want to buy some property. Okay, so you've got the realtor. You want to buy property. Notice how the realtor just looks at you and just waits. What is the realtor waiting for you to do? Tell them what you're creating. You know, realtor, here's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a commercial building. What do I want to do? I'm looking for something with a high foot traffic area, great parking. Now you see. Because what are you going to tell him? Here's the business. So I need lots of foot traffic. So now what does the realtor do? The realtor knows what you're looking for. Are you going to call the realtor every day? Did you find it? Did you find it? Did you find it? No, you're not calling the realtor every day. Not so long as you've been clear with the realtor. So now what do? Prepare for the move. Pardon me, because you know they're going to come and tell you, oh my God, I have a couple options for you, and you can pick the best one that fits. So you see, now you've prepared yourself for your inevitable move, because that's why you sought out the realtor in the first place. You can't look at the realtor and say, I don't know what I want. What will they do? Give you their card and say, call me when you know. You see how important it is for you to know what you want? Because when you know what you want, you can begin to prepare. Indeed, you can. Same for the car salesman, you know. Listen, if you don't know what kind of car you want, you will come out with something that you can't afford. Because we already know. I'm sorry if you were a car salesman. That was not intended to be mean. But it helps if you know the year, make, model, color, standard, or automatic. It helps if you know those things. Because then they can show you. Hey, Nancy. Because then they can show you the options that fit what you say you are looking for. You don't want to go buy a car and you don't have a license. Prepare yourself. You have a chauffeur? Well, then that doesn't apply to you. You just have to show up and the chauffeur will open the door for you. You get in and you will give him the destination. But if you're buying a car and you don't have a chauffeur, you better have a license. Prepare yourself. These are the things. R is for preparation. Oh, yes, it is. The rhythm is how you prepare. The ebb is where you prepare yourself. Once you have decided what it is you want to create, not what you want to wait to receive. You're not waiting to receive anything. You have created it. Then you already have it. How? I will give you the analogy of the architect once more. Let me sip some water. Hold on, y'all. Thank you. The architect. The architect is sitting there at lunch. And they've been saying to themselves, I really want to design something, a multifamily complex with businesses on the ground floor and apartments on the top, and quiet neighborhood, good bus route, blah, 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 blah. They know what they want. They've already seen the structure. So they're at lunch, and then voila, an idea hits them. And they grab the napkin because they don't have anything else. Well, I don't know how architects work. I don't know if they have fancy gadgets, but I do know if they're at a restaurant and they have a napkin, that's where most things happen. They begin to sketch it on the napkin. Does it exist? But of course it does. It's on the napkin. So it does exist. They already have it. So now, once they have that drawing, of course they'll tweak it, they'll do whatever they want. But when they get back to the office, they get out their drafting supplies and they start to sketch it. Why are they sketching it? Well, you're going to have a crew to build it. You see, this is why images are important. If you pay attention, everything that surrounds us will always generate an image in our minds. They just will, because that is the way creation happens. An image. An image is projected from your conscious mind to your subconscious mind. The napkin in this case is the subconscious mind. And once you know what that thing is, once you can see that image and interact with it in your mind, now you can recreate it. This is what makes all things possible. The minute you have an image that can be recreated, it is possible. Without an image, what will be recreated. This is why you can't get something from nothing. That image, that image, meaning knowing what you want. This is why the ebb is important. It's that supposed downtime. Low tide. That part where you just recline and you say, okay, let me get clear. What do I want to experience here? And you begin to get as clear of an image as possible. Because once you have the image in your mind, what do you want your marriage to look like? You want to come home and argue all day? No. Well, then what do you want? You say, well, I want a submissive wife. Okay. What does that look like? What does that look like? You have to be clear about what it is you are creating. That's what the reason why you have to be clear about it is so it can be recreated. Notice the word. You have already created it in your mind. Now, all the necessary components will come together to recreate it for you out here so you can walk in the door of your brand new house, open the door of your brand new car, launch your website, launch your app to your new business. But without knowing what it is that you are creating, you cannot prepare for it. R is for preparation. Know what you are creating. Well, how does that work in real life, Angela? Your attitude. Your attitude about life itself. If you are Julie Andrews, the hills are alive with the sound of music. If you think life is grand and beautiful and just waiting to bestow loveliness upon you, well, then you are always in preparation for that. But if you are like Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh, great Canadian show, if you are like Eeyore, ho hum, life sucks. Doesn't matter what I do, I can't get ahead, I can't catch a break. Nobody cares about me. If that's you, well, you've already created that image. Now you can only act it out. And then we say to ourselves, well, nothing changes. It doesn't matter what I do. It's not about what you do. It's about who do you say that you are. If you say, well, I'm like Julie Andrews and my life is just peachy keen, easy, breezy, lemon squeezy, and that is my life, well, then that's how you behave in life. That's how you move through the world. Those are the kinds of conversations you have with people because that's what you have prepared yourself for. But if you are like Eeyore rocking in the corner with a Hug Myself jacket because you don't want to carry on, that is what you have prepared yourself for. So now you can get out the law of polarity and say, okay, look, this is unsatisfactory. I don't want to live life like this anymore. You notice the key word is you say you don't want to live life like this anymore. Well, then what do you want to live life like? Because polarity will say to you, hello, darling, where are you now and what are you doing? That's what polarity will say to you. And you say, well, polarity, it sucks right now because I'm doing this, 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 and this and can't catch a break. Then polarity says, why, where would you prefer to be and what would you prefer to be doing? So remember, if you said back there, well, I ain't got no friends, ain't nobody care about me, I'm a loser. If you say that, well, now polarity says, okay, so you have no friends. What's the solution to that problem? To make friends. That's the solution. You notice how polarity doesn't care about feelings. Not because they are irrelevant, but because they will make you stumble. You must be clear-headed. So, okay, fine. You have no friends, you need to make some. You got no job, you need to find one. But now she helps you out. Polarity says, okay, what kind of person are you? Because that will determine the kind of friends you are going to create in your world. What kind of friend are you? What, who? The reason why it's important for you to know who you are is simply this. That's how you don't go to a restaurant and say, well, I'll eat your favorite dish. No, you go and you eat your favorite dish, but you have to know what that is. So this is why you have to know what kind of friend you are. And when you get a clear image of who you are, then that's what you will recreate in your friends. So yeah, now that means you'll start going to the places you love going to and you have fun going to, because then you're sure to meet other people with the same interests. Oh, look, now you've made friends. Oh, but you make it sound so easy, Angela. And as my grandmother would say, well, you have a plaster for every sore, which means you have a band-aid for every cut then. Every time I give you a suggestion, you tell me why you cannot do it. But that's all right. I have the patience of Job. And I will teach you till you get it. Because the only thing left is to do it. When you recognize who and what you are, you must be it. That's how we live life. We live our life based upon who we say we are. But the funny thing is, sometimes who you say you are is who somebody told you that you were. And we spent our whole lives believing what somebody else has told us. Ah, well, that may have worked when we were children, but we are no longer children. You have the capacity to think for yourself now. What is it that you want? You say, well, I don't have a job. Well, what are you good at? Is that not where you would start? What are you good at doing? Well, I'm great with people. You know what? No, I don't like people that much, but I'm great with numbers. Uh, Accounting people usually are solitary. So, does not play well with others? Well, then look at that kind of job. What job requires minimal supervision? That's how you begin to choose. But it is all based upon you. So that now, when you know what you are creating, your ideal job, when you know that you are creating your ideal job, you begin to prepare your resume for that job. And then you prepare your attitude for that job. That's what you're doing. You're always preparing yourself. That's what we do. It's okay to be sad. Listen, we can't be happy 24/7, 365, 66. No, that's crazy. But we can know the law and apply it all day, every day. The law is not emotional, it doesn't care about feelings. You need to be aware that the law is there. What law are we speaking about if you're new today? Mentalism. The all is mind. The universe is a mental creation. Correspondence. As within, so without, as above, so below. Vibration. Everything vibrates. Polarity between two poles, a swing to and fro. Love and hate are exactly the same. It is simply a matter of vibration that tells you which one you're feeling. If you grit your teeth when you see that person, you know that's hate or strong dislike. But if you go, then you know that's love or strong like. See? Same, just vibrationally different. And that polarity begins to form a rhythm, an ebb and a flow. The pendulum swings. Causation. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. And then finally, the law of gender. Gender. The projection of your intention is masculine. I am masculine right now because I'm projecting words into your delicate ears, which means you are feminine when you listen. You are masculine when you speak. That is the law that governs all creation. And we see it as we go outside. As above, so below. You've got leaves and branches above you. You have roots below. You cannot have something above without having something below. Why? Because every cause has its effect, and every effect its cause. What's the law of correspondence? You reap what you sow. If you plant peas, honey, you're going to be eating peas. You can't plant peas and tell me you got corn, because according to the evidence of what you are eating, that is what you've planted. This is law. We live by it. So the seed thoughts that you plant in your mind, or that you have allowed to be planted in your mind, is the fruit that you will bear. This is the law that governs all creation. It is inescapable. It is inescapable. Whether you are on Earth, Venus, Pluto, Mars, Saturn, it doesn't matter where you are. The law remains. Because without the law, well, then, without the law, we cease to be. So, this is why when you know what you want, everything goes by way of law. So if you are cussing yourself out day in and day out, according to law, you will reap what you sow. You'll be cussed out everywhere you go. That's not an opinion. You ever had somebody call you because you were thinking about them and you say, "Oh my God, I was just thinking to call you." Mm-hmm. Coincidence. Sure. There are no such things as coincidences. A coincidence would mean something randomly happened. Nothing happens randomly. Every cause has an effect, and every effect has a cause. So if something happened, something caused it to happen. So there is no random, there is no coincidence. That's just what we call, because we don't know there's a law. That's what it is. That is all it is. This is why you get clear about what it is. The more clear the image of what it is you are creating, the faster you can recreate it. But don't get it twisted. Remember the law of vibration that tells us everything moves, which means you got to put some work in. Well, these peas aren't going to plant themselves. These peas aren't going to pick themselves either. It's either you going to pick them or the squirrels will. This is law. In order for your garden to be pretty, you've got to prune things. You've got to pluck the weeds. It's the same thing with your mind. If you have thoughts just running amok in there, and then you say, "Oh my God, I can't focus. Oh, I'm ADHD." Then practice focusing, and we become better at what we practice. These are practical things. Oh my God, I'm like so crippled with anxiety and depression. Now, I'm not making fun of people or making light of situations. What I'm trying to tell you is you are not trapped by your situation. You are not trapped by any situation. If you believe yourself to be trapped, then you must be, because you have to reap what you have sown. But if you believe yourself to be free, well, then free is what you have to be. Perspective is everything. This is your word today. All those inner conversations, catch them. What are you saying to yourself? Whatever it is you're saying to yourself is what you are preparing yourself to experience. This is what you're doing, day in and day out. Day in and day out. You don't have to believe me. The law does not ask you to have faith. The law does not ask you to believe. The law asks you to observe it. Because when you see the law in action, you can align yourself accordingly. It's like if you live near the beach and you go walking on that beach, you can't go walking at high tide. Well, you're going to be wading. Oh, yes, it'll be waist deep. You have to wait for low tide to walk that entire beach. That's what it is. This is how the law works day in and day out. So you have to plan accordingly. Because if you don't know that it is your thoughts that are being projected, everybody projects. Everybody projects because it is the law of gender. And if you look around you, when you go to the theater, no, when you go to the cinema, there's a projector in the back, is there not? To project an image onto the screen. That's what we do. So if you fall asleep and you're cranky, you gonna get up cranky. Hmm. So you see, if you look around you, you will see the law is always on. So begin to prepare yourself accordingly. Know what it is that you want to create. You are creating it. Nobody can withhold things from you. Oh, that was the collective stepping on toes. Yikes. But the system, if you, how opportune for my stomach to go as soon as I say the system. Listen, we think the system has control, but the system cannot exist without the people in it. So if the mindset of the people are changed, then the system changes. Oh, so what do you want to create? Get clear about that and begin to prepare yourself for the inevitable. The thing that you have in your mind, that image you have in your mind, is what you will encounter. It is what you will live out. So begin to prepare yourself. Don't just use the mirror to apply your makeup, use the mirror to help you. I told you about mirror neurons that we have in the brain. Mirror neurons, let me refresh your memory. Mirror neurons, they're beautiful. They're just as their name implies. If you understand how a mirror works, then you will know how mirror neurons work. What do you do in a mirror? You do two things in a mirror. You do something and you watch yourself do it. Well, I'm not watching you apply mascara. You are. And you are also applying the mascara. So you are watching yourself do something. So mirror neurons are always watching you do something. So if you want to learn how to dance, start looking at the dance moves. Because mirror neurons, when you start watching dancing, they will prepare your body. You'll start to move and say, oh, I can do this. And you start now to imitate the dance moves that you've watched. So if it works with dance moves, what else does it work with? I don't know. You would have to try it out. You would have to watch something. Because that's what happens in a mirror, a reflection. Well, then the world that you live in is a reflection of you. It is a reflection of me. That is why, if you know what you want, you will prepare yourself for it. Lord have mercy, look at the time. Y'all have been so patient. Listen, countdown initiated. Twitter, you know I love you. 5, 4. Love you, Twitter. Dear Jeff and Cuddles, I see you. Much love. Twitter is closed. Fanbase, hey, hey, y'all. Zarian, I see you. Lady Elevation, I see you. KZ, Flow Smiles, Matthias, Miss McQueen, Yolanda, Zola, I see you. Thank you all for being here. Now, I don't know if there's gonna be any more gravy left in the bowl. But you know where to find me. I'll be on YouTube. That's where I'm at right now, under the same name, Positively Angela. Um, let's see. We just finished chapter 2 in law school. It was fun. Oh Lord, it was a great time. If you want to be a part of law school, click on the link in my bio or the link tree below the video, and it will take you to Patreon to be part of law school. Um, if you need coaching with a situation, yeah, the regular fee is $100. But if you say, you know what, Angela, the way my pocketbook is set up right now, I'm not going to refuse you. Do you know why I'm not going to refuse you? Because the law is important to know. So let there be no excuse. If you can't afford it, just DM me and tell me what the problem is, and we'll apply the law together. And you'll work your way out of that situation that you are currently in. And then you can tell your friends, oh my God. Or you can be like many people in my DMs to tell me, Angela, my life has changed. I'm like, and then I will feign my surprise and go, oh, really? It did? Listen, it can only change when you apply the law. So there aren't any surprises. There are no surprises. So whatever the situation is, you have the keys to release yourself from that situation, or you have the keys to lock yourself firmly in it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? If you find what we do here to be of value to you, on YouTube, you can subscribe for 99 cents a month. On Fanbase, you can subscribe, whatever the case may be, however you want to support, it's fine. If you don't want to, hey, share the message. Click that little share button and share it with people. Why? The algorithm. The more you focus on something, the bigger it gets. It just does. So the more you focus on this video and the more you share it, that's what the focus would be, is to share it. You make it more accessible to people who are also looking for this same thing that we are doing right now. See, there are always many ways to help. There are always many ways. See, that was easy, right? It sure was. If you're looking for a book to start reading, The KYBALION. That link is in my bio, in my link tree. It is in the description of my YouTube. Because truthfully, so many people are hurting at the moment. So many people are not hurting at the moment. It doesn't matter. We must know the law and apply it every day. That is the whole purpose. There's no way around it. Because ignorance of the law, meaning you don't know that it's there, so that it's actually no science, you're unaware of it. Unawareness of the law does not absolve you of your responsibility. Not because the law is cruel and punishes. No, the law does not punish, nor does it reward. It wants you to be aware of it so that you can live your best life and stop saying things like, oh my God, life is so hard. The trauma. Listen, we've all been through things. But what the law is telling you is if you continually plant the memory of that trauma, how do we live? We live our lives from our memories. Well, how can you say that, Angela? Well, you think you're writing because you learned to write today? No. You're writing because you learned to write many moons ago. You are recalling. It is a memory. You learned to count. That is a memory now. You learned your times tables if you got a calculator. But in my day, we learned our times tables. We live from our memories. So if you behave in a particular way that is associated with an incident, a cause, you will continually have the same effect and outcome in your life based upon that memory you keep replaying. So now you understand the importance of being aware of the law so you can change your life. It's not just about manifesting things. Manifesting is not a phenomenon. You do it all day, every day. All day, every day. And some things that are manifested are desirable and some things are not. But anywho, I digress. It's early, and you guys have been so patient. I do try to say goodbye, don't I? Queen Red Pill, you enjoy your day and your smoothie, darling. Sugar Visions, I see you. Sherelle, hey, hey. A Not, Nancy, David, Double A, ah, and then A Not and The Better Man. All of you who've made yourselves known in the chat. That's what it is today, my beautiful friends. I do say that was the last remnants of gravy from the bowl. Now I have to, oh, Iapo. I haven't said Iapo's name today. Why would I remember Iapo? Because I have to go make a Deutscht baby right now. It's a German pancake. That's what my son requested. He's like, Mom, can you make that? And I was like, yes, I can. He's so good. He says, Mommy, do you have the ingredients? And I'm like, I've got cream. I don't have any milk. So I'll dilute the cream, or else you'll change the consistency too much. Anywho, see, the joys of motherhood. I get to cook and bake, which is what I truly enjoy doing. Yes, oh, and whipped cream. Oh. I digress. Let me go make this child his breakfast. I love you all because we're homeschoolers, right? We're homeschoolers. David, now you made me sing a song. Please don't go. Don't go. That's what David's telling me. Please don't go. I'm like, I'm begging you to stay. David, you crazy. Anywho, I do love you all. And tonight I'm with Lance. Don't know what I'm talking about yet. What part of the Bible we're going to be on. I don't know if we're going to do a story or if I'm going to do a scripture. I don't know. I don't know yet. I don't know. I might talk about Deborah. I have not decided quite yet. I was thinking about talking about Jezebel, but I wasn't sure. We do Bible stories every Monday night with Lance on Lance Scurv on YouTube, and we look at the law. Don't clutch your pearls when you hear the Bible. The law is in the Bible. After all, the Bible could not exist without the essence of the law having been first there. Our job is not to be manipulated by the Bible, but to find the law in the Bible and apply the law, by way of that story, to our lives. That is what we do every Monday night. Oh. So if you have a favorite Bible story, slide into my DMs. Perhaps you covered it already. I don't remember. Because who did we do last time? We did Samson and Delilah. We did David and Bathsheba. Whoa, we did lots of things already. But let me know, and I'll see you guys there tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Lance Scurv, Scurv. Hey, Eapple. You see, I called his name. He says I'm late. Eapple, you know what? The good news is, right, that I talk so much, you can still catch something. But I'm glad you're here. Better late than never. So that's what we do every Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Lance Scurv. Like, without, like a pirate with scurvy, just without the Y. Scurv. Don't tell Lance I said that. I'm going to tell him, don't worry. But that was the easiest way to remember so you could know how to search. Because I don't know yet how to link that to my YouTube. Anywho, parting really is such sweet sorrow. And I will see you soon. Indeed. Yes, Apple honey, you are part of the replay gang. Okay. Okay. Just because you were here again, Apple. That's why I had to do it from what we spoke about last week. I love you all. Much love. Peace out, fan base. Fan base is closed. Oh, I have a message on fan base. Yes. All right, YouTube and Facebook. I'm going to catch y'all later. Okay. Holler at your girl. Send me a note or something. Send me a note or something. Yeah. Alrighty then. Bye, y'all.